How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I've mainly got one mission done, but first I'm doing a bit of road research. The reason why, thanks to Rebel by Choice, let me know that a guy called Driving with JJ, I believe, told SD1 that if you keep driving your steamroller over roads, that you can eventually flatten them. Also, thank you to the Bearded Homesteader, I believe he was mentioning it as well. Yeah, so I wanted to test it out because I said yesterday that a lot of my roads have got lumps in. Part of the reason why, like that big lump I've just been driving over there, was when I originally started building the road, the paver did a weird thing as it connected with the mission road I built, and then I tried to demolition mode to smooth it out, and it just keeps making a big notch that goes further back basically. So yeah, and then along with like doing the whatchamacallit, the dozer, the big wide Vostok one, that was also, I don't know, it's sort of like I was having to push rocks out the way and all sorts, and it was just making the sand scruffier, and eventually I ran out of time and I was just like, sod it, I'm paving it. Like, I could have spent another couple of hours going around neatening it. For example, like I did a little line there, that was quite easy to get quite nice and flat, but I think part of the problem might be that it's copying the terrain that's underneath because I've not laid a very thick pat of sand. But anyway, nonetheless, I was testing it out kind of all night tonight, so that's kind of took up a lot of the time. I ended up like extending the sand here just to see, for example, if I could make it smooth with the road, and it does meet the road very nicely, but you can see even then there is still bumps and dips and valleys and all sorts going on. I have to say though, I don't think it's perfect or anything like that, but there is something to it. There's more than nothing for rolling the roads. I kept going up and down, that's what she said, and it wasn't making too much difference, so I thought, right, I'll go diagonally, because then at least we'll be able to sort of see if it's doing anything. And as you can tell, it's done something, because I've now got diagonal lines running across. It looks really nice there because it's not sunny. When it's sunny, it'll show up like all the bumps and everything. But yeah, there's definitely diagonal lines running through the road, which means it is doing something. So I then changed my angle, went to do diagonal lines this way because I wanted to see if I could now scrub out the other diagonal lines I'd done. And yeah, after going back and forth, I think there'll be a better image of it in a minute, but you can now see there's definitely diagonal lines running the other way as well. So it is doing something. I went all over my new road I'd built. It slightly takes the peaks off some things, but it isn't just going to flatten like a lumpy bit of road. Again, you can see there, kind of got diagonal lines heading both ways really. That's sort of the last one I did, but you can see a few running along there as well. But as you can tell, I mean, it's not completely making it like glass smooth or anything, so it may help in certain situations. Like I say, maybe the sand just isn't that deep. I think, you know, if you laid like an 8-foot deep piece of sand and then built a road on top, you might be able to get it quite smooth. By the way, I cloned my Loaf as well. Decided I wanted to. Yeah, the other issue was like when I was driving along with the dozer doing it yesterday as well, like every little rock that was in the way would mess up your dozer, because this dozer, you can hear like it'll do the pistons up and down, and it's like raising and lowering the bucket, which can sometimes make sort of little wavy lines. But as you can see to the right of me, it's leaving a line, which is fair enough, it's sort of gonna. But if you look back on like the concrete slabs facility that I did, all around like the actual concrete slabs facility, I got it completely like glass smooth. I was pretty damn happy with it. But the ultimate kind of base terrain underneath was the concrete slabs facility, which was quite flat anyway. Whereas just kind of freestyling, going across the map like this, I think in certain sections you kind of like, I don't know, like you're bound by the terrain that's underneath. I mean, this bit sort of sweeping from the left down, it's a hill, probably a bit more than it looks on that camera angle. So here it's leaving like grades, it's sort of like stepping down with the sand, and there's not really a lot I can do for that. Do you know, I hit the wrong button here as well. I was like, oh no, not demo mode. I did it in the concrete slabs facility as well a couple of times. Yeah, to help smooth out the steps that are kind of going down, you can go like this way, but now it's going to leave lines going like this way. Plus, obviously, along a road, you can't reasonably, like, you don't really want to be going sideways all the time along like a mile long piece of road. Another little quick test I wanted to do, I was just double checking that thing is actually physically laying tarmac, because it doesn't always do it. I was curious, could I tow it with a Loaf and still pave the road? And the answer is yes. What a goddamn professional a Loaf is. The reason why this might come in handy is because obviously it's all good if you just lay in one flat road. Plus if you do a road one dozer width wide and you drive down it, you probably will get a pretty glass smooth road because you're just doing one run down it. But obviously when you're doing big patches like this, and then even like this step up to my road that was already there, I don't think this paver would climb. So it was quite a good example just to drag it with a Loaf. So if you have got some awkward places that won't go, yeah, get yourself a Loaf, winch it to it, put towing mode on, turn the paver thing on already, so it's already sort of going when you tow it, but it left a line there, pretty nice one as well. Yeah, flawless, no missing marks or anything. The reason why I wanted to pave that bit is because I wanted to see if I could then, that sort of gives me another baseline that I can pour sand on top of that, and maybe because there's like, the sand isn't as deep, it won't be as varying with like its depths and all the rest of it. You can see, I mean, it's smoothed it out a bit. It does kind of build up a little wave of sand in front of it, but when I paved it, yeah, you were almost looking at the same kind of lumps really. So no matter how much I drive the steamroller back and forth over these lumpy bits, I'll never get it like completely smooth, which is not the end of the world. I just mentioned like if I could, if there was a reasonable way to do it. There was more lumps here, by the way, and these had little peaks on it, quite sharp peaks, so after reversing up and down quite a few times. One, you can see different lines where my roller must have been, and obviously when you're driving along you can almost see like a smoky speckled sort of ghost mist coming out the back of your steamroller, and that's where it's obviously like just the game's kind of counting it as like you're flattening new road out and all the rest of it. It did smooth them out, but again, it just will never get to be glass smooth in this situation. But yeah, still, I appreciate letting me know, because I like to know this sort of stuff. It's, if nothing else, yeah, here and there it might come in handy. There might be a few little peaks that you want to kind of at least take the edge off. Maybe in the future they could add something that kind of makes it really flat. Yeah, so the mission I wanted to do, sorry, was bring back the pipeline back in order. Or bring the pipeline back in order. I don't know why I said back twice. So I've got to drive up the map, kind of following. I'm in my countryside garage, I think it's called. Yeah, driving up the left-hand side of the map to the rail station. And after yesterday's mission, I got the 2 sections of pipe fixed, and then it unlocked this, but I'd just sort of done enough for that night, and was running out of time. So yeah, this is like the second part of that mission, where it wants me to go and find 2 valves. It's got a big yellow circle around it because it wants you to scan for them, hence why I brought the mule and this. And I packed the links into the mule. It fits, apart from the links is about 3 inches longer than the sideboard, and it made it awkward trying to reverse out of there. So I propped the links kind of on the back of it. It rolled out, I had it with a crane, it kept tipping. Then I just had the crane winch retracted, and as soon as I drove, it just dumped out like an extra 4 foot of winch rope, and then my links was just fully towing behind me. At that point, the mule was being slow, and I was like, sod it, I'll just get in the links, go into towing mode, and drag it this way, it'd be quicker. And so then it tried to bloody turn off into the fuel station, I'm assuming. Must be some kind of like AI within it. It just assumed I was probably going to go that way, so it flung the steering that way. Yeah, this was definitely quick. I might just make this a way to drive the mule around from now on, because this, well, the links, I mean, it still has gears, but for whatever reason, the mule has 8,457 gears, and 8,456 of them seem to be the same gear over and over and over again until you eventually get to the top gear. But then you hit anything, or anything slows you down a tiny bit, and then you hear it drop down, start from gear 1 again, and carry on going up. Yeah, whereas this thing, the links, actually is not too shabby at getting up to speed a little bit quicker. That tunnel, by the way, to the left of me there, there's going to be an AI mission unlocked there a little later, just to... I don't really particularly get stuck into it tonight. I'll sort of explain it at the end. I'm probably going to leave that one for tomorrow. Yeah, instead of following all the wiggly roads around, I figured I'd kind of cut across here, thankfully I've already driven around really and got like a fair chunk of the map uncovered. There's still a few clouds here and there. I wouldn't say it's that time effective to go around uncovering clouds before the game kind of gives you a reason to go to that area, because often if you go to an area when the missions are happening and all the rest of it, it just says area revealed, which then uncovers like a massive patch of clouds, whereas if you drive around kind of on your own time, you obviously can make the clouds disappear, but it's a very small, thin, narrow path, so you've got to kind of do a lot of driving and weaving around to actually get some decent cloud uncovered. Yeah, so approaching here, like I say, I already could see in bird's eye view the valves I need, but because the mission does this thing where you've got to find the objects first, I'm now in the search area, I pretty much had to bring a lynx with me as well, just to fire these pulses out, which again, I could already see where the two valves were, so it wasn't even a case of just having to drive around blindly praying that you'll ping one of them. So yeah, all that really, just for 3 seconds of pinging them out. And now they've lit up, and it wants one there, which is at the bottom of where I fixed the pipe yesterday. The pipe was at the top though, and then a valve there, which again I fixed. Like that roof of that little building is what I parked the mule on yesterday. So they're kind of easier versions of yesterday's deliveries, because the first pipe was really high, I needed a crane to deliver it, whereas this valve is at the bottom of that, and then the one at the quarry is just not as awkward, having to sort of go into the middle of the quarry. I thought I'd use this crane since it was here. I wanted to go and grab the valve that's sort of at the bottom of the screen now. I don't even know why in hindsight, because it looks, I think it was better the way I did it in the end, but I couldn't go far enough. It won't let the crane go over that far. So I thought instead I'll come back this way, grab this valve, move it just more over here, and then you see those two blue rail cars. I could kind of see if I move them out of the way, I can sort of get into that little area. I dropped it, happened to wedge between two rail car things, so at this point I was like, I hope it's not like super wedged and it ain't coming out. That's what she said. Yeah, move these two blue rail cars. And then I was about to just drive over there, and to the left there's an arrow on these red cargo containers, and there's a ramp there. I don't really know why or what it's going to be for yet. I could obviously see you could move that blue rail car, so I could bump that up. There's two little ramps on top of the green rail car as well. And then here there's a ramp up to that roof. There's a bit of wood sort of going onto there, so I just had a quick test around with that. I drove around the other side, drove up that ramp. You're able to very kind of nicely and smoothly get onto the onto this thing, the blue rail car. I probably didn't even, I should have done the old snow runner trick with Loaf. I should have just tried firing a winch to the mule, towing mode on, and see if I could make the mule push me while I'm still in the links. I'll have to save that for another day. Chances are this may be something in the future that comes in handy. I just kind of figured I was messing around. Yeah, it's got like the two ramps to get on there. There's an arrow on those red cargo containers. You can go down here, but you're kind of now trapped. I could probably in the links drive up onto that little platform, but there's also a ramp up here, and obviously I can knock that concrete slab down. The only reason I didn't is because if it is a future mission, I'll just save it so I can get the footage then, instead of trying to find this video that'll be buried in hundreds of videos. Yeah, and then just climb back out of there, went onto here, drop down there, bit of thumbnail. If you move, like, you can sort of drive along, slam your brakes on and roll the blue thing forward, and then reversing made it go a bit more forward, but then trying to accelerate again it sort of moves back, slam on. I think you just get stuck at that point, but still, we need to test these things for science. Yeah, so back to the mission really, reverse the mule into here. Grab the first valve. Thankfully it wasn't actually wedged, like it was, but not completely glitch hitbox stuck. And then look, when I grab this, it knocks the rail car, two little like explosive sparks go off, and the side flap of the rail car falls down. I'm not sure if I'll be able to knock the other side down because that other blue container's in the way. I'll have to try it. I try not to go off script too much, it says, as I just went and experimented driving around in the links on top of rail cars. Yeah, you might be able to knock the other side down, but I actually edited it out and then remembered and just faffed around for the last 10 minutes trying to figure out how to get that bit of footage back in. because I just wanted to leave it there for future reference, just in case there may be situations in the future where you are somehow able to knock that down. And yeah, it may be a way to like then drive. It sort of creates its own little ramp as it flaps down, so there may be different maps, different things in the future where you can knock bits down like that and then sort of use it as its own little mini rail car bridge and drive over it. So yeah, basically going to head back the same way I came. I'm going to cut most of it out because, yeah, the mule's just too slow, bless it. It's a shame because apart from that, like driving around now, I like the way it sort of bounces and wallows around like there, but it never really tips on you unless you take the piss. It's just too damn slow for the footage. Like, I've probably already edited hours of mule driving footage out of the videos I've made, really. Might only be like 5 minutes here and there, but yeah, it's just until they do something with the torque. It's, as an unloaded vehicle, it's not too slow, but once it's loaded, it's terribly slow, which kind of like, it's not really fit for purpose, because it's, for one, they make, because it's the only vehicle really that's got a crane and a sideboard. I know there's that epic crane, but that's got a different sort of crane that you have to manually pick stuff up, and obviously depending on what shape it is, you've got to get like the claws around it. Big cranes are cool, but obviously you've got no sideboard capacity or anything like that, so considering they really have forced us to use this vehicle, it's, yeah, it's just not got enough power when it's a loaded vehicle. Slowly crawled up that hill. I managed to get stuck. In fairness, there's a bit of a deep patch of sketchy mud there, but we made it out that way anyway. Got one of those valves. See, I fixed the pipe that was at the top of that cliff, and I needed the big crane for it. This one, at least, you can just do it with a mule. And yeah, as I'm driving out now, I'm not actually stuck on anything per se. It's probably nearer the front of my sideboard. It's kind of just rubbing on the mud, and that's enough. Again, it's not got enough grip or power or torque or whatever combination of them to even pull itself out of here. So thankfully, really, I went to this one first because I still had one valve with me. And again, yeah, I need to make a tips video just to put them all in one. But one tip is, yeah, use things to shift your weight around, like dangle that over to the side. That lent my weight to, I suppose, like the left of the vehicle. And yeah, took a bit of weight off, like I was resting on the mud. And it was just enough to sort of shift it around and get out of there. I was then trying to sort of take the piss and think, right, can I just make it to the next destination? Got it, like, yeah, no. Okay, game, I get the hint. Pack the bloody thing again. Straps. At least the straps are cool. The straps have never hassled me. In fact, half the time they sort of impress me, because I've done a few loads where it's like, yeah, I don't know, and then it fires straps over them, God bless it. See, now, with one valve, it's not, I could live with like this speed if it had just, when you hit a bump and slow down, it needs more, yeah, torque. It's like, that's got to be the missing link, because the Loaf doesn't drive me mad, and the Loaf isn't rapid, but the Loaf has lots of torque, so even when you get stuck in, or rough sections, it immediately just powers back up to the speed it was going anyway. I went off to the left here. It was just, you can sort of see where I chewed it all up. It basically just turning the hillside into sand, and it was not having like any of it really. Yes, I knew I could in theory drive up here because I drove the big crane up there. I drove the mule up there. I did get the mule up there. I was just thinking, did I drag it up with a Loaf actually? But nonetheless, at least you can sort of jiggle around, start heading diagonally, slowly creeping way up. This was the bank I was on about. If I veered off to the right now, you could probably cut out all the rough road section getting round to the middle of that quarry. But this time, yeah, it wants me to go. Yeah, I had the mule, like, I got the big crane and lifted the mule onto the pipes, but those pipes are ridiculous to try and balance on. They're not as, the hitboxes aren't the same as the pipes. It's just like a, it's almost like a, probably the point of a diamond. Imagine like a diagonal diamond shape, and it's like, if you're not absolutely bang on, it just slides off, and it was too messy, so I just did it the normal way yesterday. And yeah, that's that one done. And then Kelly pops up saying need a convoy from the western tunnel to the runway, the railway, sorry.
If you're feeling particularly industrious, a train got derailed by the earthquake and is kind of in the way now. If you can move the carriages and
then yeah,
off the track,
there's a crashed train and all the rest of it. You got to go and do the stuff. I'll probably get into this tomorrow, but I was just like, as I unlocked it, I was just sort of showing you what you do unlock. Yeah, so clear damage from the train accident, get all that done. And then the other one was plan a route from the Western Tunnel. That was the tunnel I was on about earlier when I drove past, to the railway station, and it's not that far. I was I mean, I could cut across, but because it was a, you know, an AI route, that's the route I've drawn. And then I was like, oh no, that is not what I wanted to see, a bloody semi-truck. Yeah, I already know, like, look, they haven't even got there or anything yet. I already was telling myself, yep, they'll get stuck going around there. So, I'd already inspected this. You can't really come along here because there's shitloads of tree stumps. Well, you could if you do the mulcher, but they'll probably get stuck anyway. So then I was thinking maybe through this sand quarry, smash through the trees. And, yeah, but that way wouldn't really work, but I was just kind of umming and ahhing, and then what do you know? Instantly, he managed to get his front wheels down, and one of his rear axles instantly got stuck. The other bloody semi just starts shoving it around. I was like, well, now he really is screwed. Yeah. What I did notice though, there, need maintenance, remaining reward, 60 bloody slabs. I was like, god damn, I'm gonna get on that mission. So yeah, I sort of tweaked it tonight, but only a little bit, and I was like, sod it, I'm gonna end up building a road, I reckon, so I may as well save it for tomorrow. Yeah, there's one loaf. There's backup loaf. That's why. Always got to have a spare. Yeah, that's about it for today though. Thanks for watching. I hope that helps. Get yourself 2 loaves because he's a beast, and I'll be back soon.